Welcome to the Legacy Sips and Tips podcast with your host, Lindsay Wheeler. So today's episode's not about death or estate planning. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship because obviously I have my own business. I do entrepreneurship. I have an undergrad in business. I have an MBA. I like business. I like people to do their own thing. I like people not to work for the man. And if we can accomplish that 100%, let's do that. So this episode's kind of a little bit divergent from that, talking about entrepreneurship. And again, they said it would be fun. It is. Let's be real. Always like saying that now. It is fun. It is cool to be the master of your own pirate ship. And I love that. I like to be my own captain of my own Black Pearl. And let's roll. There are suckages that happen with that, don't get me wrong. But there are a lot of positives that do go along with it. There's a lot of faith that goes along with it. There's a lot of these things are just going to happen. There's a lot of grind that happens with it. Unfortunately, I hate that word, the grind culture, the hustle culture, all those, I'm going to basically, that Starbucks sometimes looks really great to go work at. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to do an OnlyFans for my feet. They're special. They play a lot of soccer. There's all those things that go along with it. There's the long days. I was literally at my computer for 11 hours yesterday, back end stuff, making no money. But in the end of the day, I am my master of my own ship, and I appreciate that. I don't have to be beholden to anybody. The 8 to 5 or the 8 to 6 showing up for a corporate man or whatever literally makes me want to vomit, the thought of going back to that. I will do everything in my power to not go back to being micromanaged and being told that I spent too long in the bathroom going pee. Never, ever again is that going to happen. Are there days where I'm like, holy shit, I'm putting everything on a credit card and oh, that's very scary? Yes, 100%. Would I rather be working at a cafe in Barcelona and doing work than sitting at a desk job in some terrible corporate cubicle? Absolutely. So there are pros and cons with everything that you choose to do. Some people really like that 8 to 5 culture. They like that stability, quote unquote stability. We'll talk about more of how that is a myth, that stability of working that 8 to 5. But some people like that consistency. They like that schedule. They like that knowledge that they're going to get a paycheck of whatever it is every 2 weeks. I am not one of those people. You may not be one of those people. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about what that actually means and how that kind of develops and what it takes to get to that point. So breaking down what actually entrepreneurship is, it's basically exactly that, being the master of your own pirate ship. It is creating your own business that may be out there, it may be another business. Like I said, I do estate planning and legal work, legal documents, which obviously is a shit ton of other people are doing that. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's not like you have to come up with some new idea or invention or things like that. It's just you are now the master of your own ship. You are running all the aspects. You're running all the parts of that business. You're wearing all the hats. That's what entrepreneurship is that you are doing your own business and maybe you're hiring out, which is wonderful. We'd love to do that. Most of us hire way too late. Getting that support system in place. It's basically making sure that you're running your own business, your own thing, doing your own thing on your schedule, your time, and making that happen for you. So most of us, when we do a business, we try to carry all of it. We try to do all the hats, all the things, and there's a way to do it. You're of course not going to quit your job and just be like, YOLO, let's roll with this. Holy God, please don't do that because you still have bills to pay. So with entrepreneurship, there are a lot of pros and cons that go along with it that, we don't just quit our 9 to 5 and say, YOLO, we're going to make our own business and it's just going to take off and we're going to be amazing. Please don't do that. Please, oh my God, don't do that because you have bills to pay and maybe children and mortgages and what have you. Like there's a way to do it where you're working your 9 to 5 and it's tiring. Don't get me wrong. You're working your 9 to 5, you're making sure that your bills are paid. And then, Gary Vee talks about it every time, after work, you're working from 6 to midnight or whatever it is, building your side hustle or your business. And then there'll become a time where it shifts, that where your income from your side hustle or your hobby or your business then transitions to be almost the exact same as your 9 to 5 or surpasses that. And then you can give up that 9 to 5 and then focus all your energy on your business, your new entrepreneurial activity or whatever it is, because now you have proof of concept that is working. We don't just YOLO it up and just quit everything, because that's not responsible. Unless you're like 22 and you're in your mom's basement, then YOLO it up all day long. Let's get real. Other than that, a lot of times we need support staff. We want to wear all those hats, and we're budget's tight, and we're trying to make sure these happen. And to be honest, like, most of us will hire too late. We should hire sooner. We should get that support staff in place. Yes, it's an outlay of expenses, and it's scary to do that, but the back end work that it will give you, and the time and the breathability, will be so valuable. Whether it's you're hiring a VA for 5 hours a week, just to break up or give you that 5 hours back will help you so much, because you're going to want to then eventually step into that CEO role and manage your business like a CEO would. You're going to be making high-level decisions. You're not dealing with the minutia of emailing people or dealing with mail or these kind of like menial kind of tasks that you can outsource and delegate to other people. And let's also talk about the expense of domestic labor as well, particularly with women, minorities. We're covering a majority of that domestic labor on top of it that's unpaid. So if you can find a way to outsource that, to delegate that, to pay for that, to make sure that that's happening for you, again, that's going to free up so much time. How much time do you do in laundry? How much time do you do folding laundry? How much time do you do dishes and these menial tasks that you can either have a partner that can help you carry that load? Everyone should be carrying a load. Or you can outsource that. There are people and agencies and avenues that love doing that stuff. They love doing dishes. They love doing laundry. They do loving these things. And that you can outsource that to give you CEO time, to free up your brain to create, to develop, to expand your business or the entrepreneurial aspect or level that you're working at, and making that grow. So there are a lot of aspects to that. Again, it's difficult. I'm not saying it's not difficult. It is a hard road. It's a lot. But for me, I feel like it's more safe than working from somebody on an 8 to 5. I can work for somebody, and yeah, I get that quote unquote paycheck every 2 weeks, but the fact that they could hire me and fire me at any moment is frightening. Like, I could literally be out of a job tomorrow and have no income, no prospects, nothing. That is more unstable to me than having my own gig and my own entrepreneurial aspect, where I can go, okay, well, I'm going to hustle some more and I'm going to get more clients. I'm going to call friends. I'm going to reach out to my network. I'm going to go on the street corner and ask people if they need estate planning, whatever it is, whatever business you're in. You can always hustle more. Whereas if you're working for somebody, your income is finite. It's not infinite, if you will, when you're an entrepreneur. And again, it's not an easy road. It's difficult. There are times where I'm like literally working. The joke is you give up your 9 to 5 to work 24/7. That's real. You're carrying all those hats, and your partner might not be supportive. Your partner might understand that, and I always say, or they always say in entrepreneurship, that you either have a supportive partner or you have no partner at all. Because if that person doesn't understand that you work on Sundays, you work on these days, you work at night, you work when clients call you, when you're getting started, that's what you do, because you're building a business, because you're giving up and sacrificing for your life right now to live in the future like nobody else is going to be able to do. So it's a give and take, and it's difficult. And a lot of people don't have the mental ability or the moxie to be able to do it. I think a lot of you can, and I think we're getting to a point in society where we're so sick of working for the corporate man and doing these things that we're all going to now transition into that, because how it's doing now is not working anymore. So how I got to where I am is ADHD. Yeah, that's a real thing. Also, in a previous episode, you may have heard me talk about my experience working for the Attorney General and having a supervisor just be super rude, super condescending, just frankly abusive to me, that I decided that I will never be spoken to like that by anybody ever again, especially in a work situation. And that was kind of my catalyst to be like, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to have to deal with people who are rude, who are condescending, who are just not nice people. And I would rather give up some type of freedom or the ability to check my work at the door when I come home, to build my own thing, to be the master of my own thing, and to have my own life, frankly, and not have to have somebody tell me what I should or shouldn't do, or micromanage, or be like, you were 5 minutes late. Okay, things fucking happen. I'm not a morning person. Calm it down. I'm still here at 8 p.m. Like, what's the big deal? Nope, that's not how it works. You are 5 minutes late. This like weird corporate mentality of yeah, we all have to be at work. We all have expectations, but I mean, oh my God, people have lives. What if somebody was sick? What if their kid was sick? What if their animal was sick? What if their parent is sick or loved one, or they have to take care of something, or they're sick, or they don't, have enough spoons for the day? I mean, let's be real. People have issues, and to be so rigid in this corporate setting or this business setting is unrealistic to me in a real world and how people live. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I think everybody should have that flexibility and that ability to live their lives, because shit happens. And I'm sorry if you're 5 minutes late being to your work or whatever. Like, did the world end? Did everything implode? Probably not. Like, let's be real. Am I 5 minutes late going to the bathroom? Like, why are you bothering me with this? Like, have I failed to do my job? And a lot of times is like, have these people failed to do their job? 100% usually not. You're just wanting to be a dick. So I don't really like that. Clearly, this is why I don't work for other people. And I have my own job. Again, is it difficult? Absolutely. Do I work 24/7? Absolutely, because I'm building something that I hope will then give me that freedom in the future. And it has. I'm able to travel. I'm able to work while I travel. Again, like I said, I would rather work in a cafe in Barcelona at 2:00 in the afternoon than be stuck in an office where I literally am prisoner and can't leave. And if you're feeling like you're a prisoner and you want to leave, let me know. I'll talk you through on how to get you out of that and getting you into your own thing of what feels good to you and working out that. And it may not be a business thing. It might be you like to sell, I don't know, crocheted head wigs, I don't know. Like there's a market for everything, and people are wanting to buy things, or whatever it is. Yes, there's a time and place for people to still work 9 to 5s. Some people really enjoy that. Some people can do really well at that. I am personally not one of those personalities. There are friends that I have that are beautiful at working at that. They do a great job, and they're happy and they're fulfilled, and that is wonderful. And they're able to make money, and they're able to excel, and they're able to get their environment feeling good, and their investments and everything growing. It's not just always have to be entrepreneurship and the hustle culture and the grinding and everybody can be this cool snowflake. No, not everybody can be a cool snowflake. It is a special personality who can only do entrepreneurship. And if that's you, I'll help you walk through it 100%. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do besides estate planning, frankly. So if you have questions on that, let me know. But other than that, man, it's a difficult road. I'm not going to lie. So let's talk about my business structure. So I have 2 main businesses. I have High Sierra Legal, which is my big business that I've had for 12, 13 years now at this point. That's my baby. Then I kind of broke out of that because I found a necessity for everybody to have estate planning. And so I make it as affordable and as accessible as possible. So I have High Sierra Legal is my big brand, if you will, or my big company. That's my LLC. And then under that, I have my DBA, which is your estate plan. So I kind of have like almost like a triangle hierarchy, if you will. So at the top is that High Sierra Legal, that's my LLC. And the LLC incorporation is important because that gives you that liability protection. Super important. Sole prop. I know everyone's like, I'll be a sole prop, it's cheaper. Cool. Well, if you get sued, then they're taking all of your stuff because you have no distinction between you and your business. So when you set up an LLC, always keep in mind that this is now your business. You're going to run this like a business. You're going to run it like a company, like you are the man, you are the CEO, you are the person of this business, okay? You're going to keep that everything distinct and separate. You're going to have an EIN, which is basically your social security of your business, right? You have your separate tax identification number. You're going to have a bank account, that's your LLC. All of that's going to be ran literally like a business, like you were running a Fortune 500 company and you're working for them, right? So say you're working for Starbucks. That's how that's going to be. They're going to be separate and distinct from you because you're not Starbucks, right? That's what a sole prop is that you and Starbucks are the one and the same. We've separated that now. You are you, and the LLC is its own thing. So if you were to happen to get sued, they would only take the assets of that LLC and not your personal stuff. That's where the distinction comes from, and that's why it's very important for you to run your business like a business. You can't be commingling funds. You can't be buying things from your business account that bleed into that, because in the event that you did get sued, we call a thing called piercing the corporate veil. They're going to say, hey, this LLC and this person is one and the same, and so now we can go after personal assets for a judgment. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that everything is ran correctly and separate from each other. So very important to make sure that those things run together or run separately together. you're going to get paid. You're going to do either a monthly distribution for yourself out of that account. That's like basically your own payroll, or you'll elect to be an S Corp election. That is not its own separate business. It is a tax election from that LLC. You're running payroll on yourself and you are being paid through your business. Again, very separate. And there's tax benefits from that. Always talk to your CPA on those tax benefits of how now you're getting paid. That's at tax rate, and then your business is being taxed at a different rate. It's very advantageous when you reach a certain level of revenue. Okay. Always have your business insurance in place. That's super important as too, to have that other layer of insulation and protection, having that business insurance as well once you set that LLC up. So kind of how that formation works, that's how mine is set up. I have a DBA with that Your Estate Plan. So I have my big business, my LLC, that is separate and distinct. I run everything out of that. That's my do-it-yourself or do-it-for-you estate planning. That is my concierge service, if you will, for Nevada residents. And then I have this separate DBA, which is Your Estate Plan, which is similar in business-wise, but a little bit different. It's the do-it-yourself option and the we do-it-for-you option to make it more accessible for everybody to have their estate plan in place. So that's how those two businesses kind of work together and work separately. They have the one EIN, everything is run through that business account, everything is taxed through that business account, and then I get a monthly paycheck from my business, just like I would if I was working for Starbucks, essentially. So that's kind of how that structure works. But the biggest takeaway from this is making sure that you run your business like a business, having those contracts in place, client contracts, having your website compliance. The privacy policy is mandatory. You could get dinged with that. Also, the new thing this year is having that requirement from the IRS and the feds to register your business. That's a big deal right now. So if you have an LLC, you have until the end of the year to register that. If you form an LLC within this year, you have 90 days to register that business with the feds. So that's a big new one. Big penalties, big fines. Big Brother just wants to know what's going on, frankly. So that's how that works, and that's how that's set up. So for me, of course, I hired late, like most of us do. I wanted to wear all the hats. I'm going to work 800 hours a day. I have an assistant. She's a VA. She's fantastic. She is phenomenal. She does so much for me. I can't appreciate her enough. My biggest issue is I don't delegate enough. There are things that she needs to be doing or should be doing that I need to let go of. So she is integral in saving me time so I can think big picture. I can do CEO things. I can make sure that things are going to grow and expand and have my brain power working there. I've also hired a house manager because I just frankly can't do it anymore. I know I'm by myself and I sound super bougie. I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. I don't have any of that. But frankly, I can't handle my laundry at this point. I can't handle my dishes because it's just too much. She basically helps me with the animals, my cats, my chickens. She helps that kind of just like changing my sheets once a week because my brain is so far in the weeds dealing with my business and dealing with those things that I need that additional support and help. So if you have kids, if you have, a spouse that's not maybe carrying their weight, which there's a lot of disparity going on with that, there are ways to make that happen. There's back-end systems that you can get in place that, yes, it takes a lot of time, but once it's done, oh my God, does it help free up your brain? And for me with ADHD, I need that space and capacity to not deal with minutia bullshit and be able to focus, which is difficult enough, on the things that need to be focused on building the business, running the business, client contacts, dealing with clients, making sure clients are taken care of, all of that kind of work. And I don't really give two shits about my laundry. Let's be real. So especially if you have children, oh my God, the amount of laundry you have. Holy God. Oh my God, little socks, too many little socks. Hire that out. There's services that will do that. And the amount that you will save, even if it's $100 a week, that is $100 that you are saving on probably 4 to 5 hours. That's a ton of time that you can devote to making more money. You can get that $100 back within however many time that you're doing because now your brain is freed up. So there's a huge amount of ability to help yourself grow if you take that faith and that leap. And like I said, every day it's a struggle. Like, I know I'm going to make money. I have that faith. I know that clients are going to come. I know that I'm going to make my mortgage. I know I'm going to make my bills because I have that unwavering faith that that's going to happen. Does it happen? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes it ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'm a little stressed. And that's where we have to make sure we have that cushion, and there's a way to do, bookkeeping and accounting to make sure that you're taken care of when you have your own business. It's not as easy to budget when I have a set amount coming in from an employer every other week. It's a little bit different mind shift and a mind game that you have to do and have to be comfortable with that uncertainty and that uncomfortableness. You just have to be comfortable with. So that's how I run it. So I have a VA, I have a house manager. Like I said, they're not crazy hours, but they do free up enough time and enough mental space for me to be able to then freely and enjoyably work on my work. So as I talked about running your books, having everything in place, having your LLC or however you set up your corporation or your business separate and distinct, that is how you run your books as well. So again, you're running your business like a business. And so we can't be commingling things. We can't be having things willy-nilly out there. And there are many programs out there that will help you run these things. There's a program called the 5-Minute Bookkeeper that's phenomenal. You can hire a bookkeeper, but keeping track of your expenses, your income, your revenues, or whatever makes it very easy for your accountant or your CPA at the end of the year to take care of these things for you. It also helps you see where you're going with your business. I honestly check my accounts every day. Every morning I look and I see what's going on with everything. I have a beautiful spreadsheet that I put everything into because I'm old school. I do everything by hand, that I put everything in there. Like I said, there's programs like the 5-Minute Bookkeeper who's phenomenal at getting that stuff done, hiring a bookkeeper if you need that level of hand-holding to do that for you. So you have that ability at any point of the day that if somebody asks me right now, what's my P&L, my profit and loss, I can tell you immediately what it is. Some days it's great. Some days it's not so good. Some days we're super leveraged. Some days we're in the black. It just depends. So, keeping track of that is really important. And again, that's a CEO role. Of course, if you're running a Fortune 500 company, you want to know exactly what's going on with this company. You want to know where your money's going. You want to know who's coming in. You want to know what everyone's getting paid. You should know that for your business as well. And I think a lot of people miss this step or abandon this step in a lot of ways, and that's fine. Again, I don't math good. That's my joke. I read good. I don't math good. So I have professionals that I hire that I trust to take care of that mathing for me because I frankly suck at it. I am able to be organized and keep those things in a spreadsheet and to make sure I have a snapshot of what's going on every day. And you can Google what a P&L is. You can Google, business spreadsheet or business income, expenses, what have you, to make sure that you know every day what you're spending. What does your tech stack look like every month to run your business if you have a business like that? Mine's outrageous right now, frankly. I have Vimeo, I have Thrivecart, I have Thinkific, I have Wix, I have, all these little things that you don't think about, but they add up. I have Asana for my project management. These are little things that, frankly, everything's on a subscription. What's my Word docs cost? Like the nickeling and diming my Adobe every month. That adds up. And so you should know exactly what you're spending. So at the end of the year, you can tell your accountant, hey, I spent X amount, and that should be deducted off my taxes to give me a tax break because these are expenses that I'm not reaping. They help my business, but they're to run my business. They're not income to me, if you will. And that helps with your tax burden. And of course, always check with that CPA because they know the tax law, and God help my soul if I ever had to look. That's like purgatory for me of being like, you're going to be a tax accountant in your next life. Like, oh God, that makes me want to cry. Pay your CPA every penny that they want. Pay your bookkeeper every penny that they want because they're going to make sure that you're on the up and up. They know the tax law. They're reading that stuff. Ain't nobody want to read that. Ain't nobody got time for that bullshit. They do. A lot of them enjoy it too, and they're really good at it. So finding a system that works for you, like I said, I'm pretty old school. I handwrite all my stuff just because I like it that way. It's important to run your business like a business. And so think of it yourself as a Fortune 500 company. Of course, they're going to have a bookkeeper. Of course, they're going to have a CPA. Of course, they're going to have an ability to look at a P&L every day and manage their business accordingly. So think of yourself in that level, especially when you have your client contracts and your privacy policies and websites and disclaimers and all that things. You're running your business as a business. Why would you not think of yourself as a business on the back end as well with your systems, your hiring, and your bookkeeping? So having income and consistent income, and that's where the 9-to-5 feels good. It feels safe. Like, oh, I have a paycheck every 2 weeks. I know what I'm getting paid. Downside, they can fire you tomorrow and you got no paycheck. For me, I know that I can go out and I can hustle more. I can get more clients. I can reach out. I can do all the things, what have you. But it is a difficult mind shift. You have to have that mindset that that unwavering belief that you're going to get money coming in. And sometimes it doesn't come in, and that can be scary. And so that's where we talk about that kind of income buffer or that entrepreneurial buffer or that emergency fund. So a lot of times these people will tell you, oh, you should have 6 months liquid cash and all these things. And sometimes that's really hard as an entrepreneur. You're really bootstrapping everything and you're working really hard. And let's be real, the economy sucks and everything is expensive and we're all struggling right now. So it is an interesting mind shift to do those things. For me, what makes me feel good is I prepay my mortgage or my rent. I know that I will have a place to live for at least 3 to 4 months, because if worse comes to worse and I have really, really bad months, I could probably buckle down and go get another job if I had to. I can go to the Starbucks and make my mortgage if I really had to. And that's all that really matters, because everything else is really, honestly, at the end of the day, just stuff. Let's be real. It's just shit. It's just shit. You know, we can get rid of it in the long run. Do we like our stuff? Absolutely. Do I love my stuff? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if it all had to go, it can go. What I need to know is that I have a place to live, my animals have a place to live, and that I'm going to be taken care of in that way. So my emergency fund looks a little bit different than most people's do, but that's just my mental ability and my comfort level to make me feel comfortable with that. That's up to you. You can have all that stuff in the bank account. You can save. You should be investing, of course. Even if you have a negative income flow, you should still be investing, because that's your future. Whether that's $50 a month, what have you. I love Ramit Sethi's I'll Teach You to Be Rich formula. I love his stuff. I think it's great. I love his thought process and how we think about money. He's one of my guys that I love. Totally up to you who you like. You might like Dave Ramsey. You might like some other financial guy. Totally up to you. I just particularly like his philosophy of what is a rich life to you. It might not be what everybody else thinks it is. It could be, you know, you want to spend more time with your kids. That's why you have this business, so you can spend more time with your kids. You can go pick them up from school and only work when they're in school or whatever it is. You might like to travel. He likes these crazy expensive sweaters. You know what I mean? It's whatever is a rich life looks like to you. For me, it's, you know, traveling and snowboarding and wine and having that freedom to be able to go do what I want to do. So it looks different for everybody. You know, having a 9-to-5 might be your rich life. That's totally great. And that's totally fine. So having that income and that flow is a little bit different as an entrepreneur. You have to think ahead. You have to kind of future progress and future, you know, have that vision essentially of what things are going to do, but also plan for bad days, rainy days. And like, honestly, this month is pretty rough right now. I'm like, oh, I'm a little struggling right now, because I think everybody's struggling right now. It's a brand new year. People are like, holy shit, 2023 was rough. Yeah, nobody wants to spend money right now because we don't know what's going on with the election and the communities and the, you know, environment and the economy. Like, it's a big to do. So, but I know that I'm a necessary outcome, an outlay of money. I know it's important for people to have their estate plan in place, and I know that people are going to want to do that. And again, I make it super affordable. I have those 3 tiers to make that happen, and I know that that's going to happen, and I know people are going to come to me because I'm the best at what I do. So today's episode, we are drinking a Zinfandel from the foothills of California. This is Pewequik, as I like to call it. My ex used to work for them. This is a Zinfandel from the Sierra foothills. It is a 2018 Legend of Zin Man. The foothills are known for basically old vine Zinfandels, which is pretty cool. Like, they have some of the oldest vines in the country for their Zins. They're really known for that. This is a nice Sierra Foothills wine, average price, you know, $20 to $30, nothing crazy. It's a nice, you know, Tuesday afternoon drinker, which is great. This is particularly a nice brand. Like I said, my ex used to be working there. He's a winemaker, and so I have a shit ton of Soot Hills wine. I am partial to European wines, however, but this is a nice Tuesday drinker. I love it. Foothill wines are great. Sierra Foothills, Amador, Placerville, outside of there, any of those areas are wonderful for nice, solid Tuesday drinker wines. Always going to be good, always going to be different, and solid Zins from that area. So this is a very beautiful wine, and if you have questions about wine, please let me know. So of course, I'm not sponsored by anybody. If any winery would love to sponsor me, I will 100% take your wine and talk the shit out of it. So please let me know if you would like to sponsor this and provide me with cases of wine, because I will not turn it down. So the benefits of entrepreneurship are freedom. That's why we all do this. So we have the freedom to fuck off and do whatever we want. Like, I can go to Nepal and hike, you know, base camp. I can go work in a cafe in Barcelona. Don't get me wrong, I'm working for most of these trips, but I would rather do that than sit in an office chained 24/7. Some of the previous episodes you talked about, or I talked about my friend Barbara, who I took care of. I don't even know how I would have done that with a real job, like quote unquote real job. Like, she would call me and be like, I have a problem. Like, she'd say it so cute, like, I have a problem. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, the water won't turn off. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know, or she's like, I've fell. Like, can you help me? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, to be able to just drop everything and go help her, I'm able to do that with my business and my job. I don't know of any 9-to-5 that I would have been able to do that. And I know a lot of you have that issue. Maybe you have a sick kid. Maybe you have a kid who has disabilities. Maybe you have a partner that's ill or has disabilities. Maybe you are ill and have disabilities, you know, and a lot of these places don't have that compassion or that ability to think outside the box that, okay, you might have to go to a doctor's appointment at 2:00, but maybe you're working until 8 p.m. You know, they're not flexible like that. And I am so thankful that I have a business, that I have my own business, that I'm able to do that. You know, my ex used to complain about all the time, well, you're always fucking working. And I'm like, cool, but we're in Cuba right now. Shut the fuck up, you know? I had friends who were like, you know, you should be present. Why are you taking this call? You're, you know, at this place or this museum. And I'm like, it's 1 p.m. I would literally be in an office right now, but instead I'm at a museum with you. And I'm sorry, I'm taking a call for 15 minutes. Like, you know, unless you do it, sometimes you don't understand how that works. Like I said, I would rather work 3 or 4 hours in a cafe somewhere else in the other part of the world and shift my schedule than to literally have to sell my soul and go to a business every single day. And again, some people really like that. They like to sell their soul. That's totally fine. We have a Faustian conversation about that later. But, you know, for me, it's not my personality. It's not my ability. It's not what I want to do. I was utterly miserable working at an 8-to-5, 9-to-5 job, like miserable. And even though I could quote unquote leave it at the door when I left and came home, do you really? Because then you're dreading getting up the next day and going to work, and you're cranky and your weekends suck and you just hate everything. Yeah, I work a lot. I work a ton of hours. I work an obscene amount of hours, but it's for me. It's for my business. It's for my life, not somebody else's, not making somebody else money, not making somebody else's life easy. It's to make my life easy and to live my life and to be able to travel and do the things that I want to do, because I built my business after 12 years to that point. Absolutely, in the beginning, was I struggling? 100%. Did I have to borrow money for my mortgage? 100%. But sometimes that's the kind of outlay that we do. Right now, am I a little stressed? Absolutely. But I know that it's going to be good. I know I've built this business well. I know I have a great product. I have proof of concept and that things are going to work and people need me. And I'm so happy to provide that ability for people. Do I work on my vacations? Absolutely. But at this point, what American doesn't work on their vacation? You know, corporatism has made it so bad that everybody has to sit there and think that, oh, they can't even leave their job or their desk to even go on a well-earned vacation to let their brain reset. So there are gives and takes with it. There's pros and cons, of course, with everything. And I feel like it's more pros than cons. And if you want to talk about what that means for you, I'm happy to discuss that. And I love that I can sit here and talk to you and drink wine and, you know, go drink more wine later. Just kidding. Or not. So if you want to explore the world of entrepreneurship, please let me know. Like I said, I will be your hype man. I will talk you up. I will help you get through it. I will give you a blueprint, whatever you need, because if we can all not work for the man, 100% let's do that. Is it difficult? Yeah. Do I have people still naysaying me after 12 years? Yeah. Did I have even close friends after I started be like, where are you working? I'm like, motherfucker, you know where I'm working. I have my own business. Why aren't you hiring me? You know? It's a scary thing for people to think outside the box. A lot of people can't think outside the box. And for you to be at that point where you want to think outside the box can be very intimidating and scary for other people in your life. And they mean the best for you. They want you to be safe. They want you to be cautious. They want you to be taken care of. And the way that they're conditioned or learned is to be in that box, to work those jobs, work those 9-to-5s. But if you feel that you are at the point where you are stuck, you're miserable, you don't want to do this anymore, there are other avenues out there. There is a big wild world out there. There is infinite amount of money. Always think about that. Like, there is an infinite amount of money out there. And I know we're trying to shrink right now, and we're all these things of the economy and all these scarcities and all these things. And that's a scarcity mindset. And we need to shift out of that, because there is an infinite amount of money in the world. Again, if you want to crochet head wigs, because I'm a nerd, 100% there will be a market out there for you, because everybody loves Harry Potter. Okay. You can make that happen for yourself. yes, there are ways to do it in a reasonable, safe manner. We're not just going to YOLO it up and be like, we're just going to quit our jobs and just get it. You know, you want to sell Funko Pops out of your mom's basement? Cool. You want to you want to sell comic books? 100%, let's do it. You know, there are niches for everybody. Niches. How does everyone say that? I don't know. But anywho, you get the point. There is somebody likes something, and this goes back to like the weird world of OnlyFans and whatever. There is a niche for everybody. I could put my feet, a box of, you know, KFC and Kylo Ren and maybe a bottle of wine, and somebody's gonna love that shit. So there is something for everybody out there. There's just the ability to get there, and there's the patience process. It takes time. It's not gonna be overnight. It's not gonna be immediate. It is gonna be a slog and a grind for probably years. Let me reiterate that. It is gonna be difficult. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be patience, and it's gonna be consistency for years before this happens, but it will happen if you keep at it. And that's where people fail, frankly, is they stop. They want that immediate gratification. They want that immediate sales. Bro, I'm a millionaire. I got a Porsche and a Lamborghini, bro. None of that happens. It takes a long fucking time to make this happen. Can it happen faster? Absolutely. But budget in your brain 5 years. 5 years. 5 years of hustling. 5 years of working every night. 5 years of working the weekends. Can you do that? Because if you can, I guarantee you're going to do really well. I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to make $1 million, but more than likely you probably will, because you've given that time, that consistency, and that decency to put it into your business, your faith, you, and making sure that that works. Do we double check to make sure that there's proof of concept? Yes. Do we make sure that there is a market for our what we're selling? Yes. Do we make sure that crochet head wigs is going to sell? 100%. But if you keep consistently doing it, it's going to happen for you. That's where people fail. They just want that quick, easy gratification. Why isn't this happening in a month? Why isn't it happening in 6 months? Why isn't it happening in a year? Why isn't it happening in 2 years? We want that, instant Lamborghini. I'm a millionaire, bro. Look at all this in my YouTube video. Fuck yeah. It's not going to happen. It's a ton of work. And a lot of people don't have that ability to do that work. And that's why they go to the 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just know that if you want to go down this road, it's not going to be easy, but it'll be so satisfying in the end. And you will know that you're doing this for you, and it's super rad. So it is a journey for sure. And it's difficult, as with every journey. You know, look at Frodo in Mordor. It was super rewarding in the end, but it was still pretty brutal. And he had to go live with the elves because, you know, he's not doing good. Yeah, that's how that rolls. So thank you for listening to my rambling as usual. Today we were talking about entrepreneurship and how awesome and difficult it is. If you like this, please subscribe, let your friends know. I'm on the podcasts where you find them, you know, Spotify, Apple, also on all the socials. You can hear me talk some shit on there too as well, which is always super fun. But if you have questions, let me know. And of course, you have other questions. A lot of this is in the show notes, and we can help you out with that. And of course, when you think of death, think of me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you found value, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to follow me on all the socials at Sips and Tips with Lindsay. And of course, you can always go to my website, sipsandtipswithlindsay.com, to find more information about estate planning, business, snowboard, travel, and of course, wine.